Good morning. Happy Monday. I know this is going to be really hard to believe, but this is a moment of transparency. So I'm just going to let you know. Sometimes things come out of my mouth, and I don't know for sure if they are godly or not. Oh, I'm not saying I'm like cussing people out or nothing like that, but just, sometimes I make statements and I have to stop and check my heart and be like, is that a God thing or just a Toya thing? I don't know. So this past weekend I had a couple conversations, really, really good conversations, where I had to step back and examine some things. But the one thing that I said fairly consistently was that I will walk through the fire with you, but I'm not going to sit in the fire with you. And what I mean by that is when a person is in a place of affliction, I have no problem of taking that journey with them. I will walk through the hard place with you. However, if you are perfectly content to stay in that hard place, I'm not going to stay there with you. If you want to throw a pity party and remain where you are and as you are and not do the work that it takes to grow, that's cool. That's on you. But I bet I'm not going to stay there with you because your complacency becomes my complacency, and there is far too much in me for me to remain complacent. So I'm not about that life, and I'm going to leave you where you are. Yeah, no, Jesus, is that of you? I don't know. So, but you know what? What I do know is that we serve a progressive God and He takes us from glory to glory. So, surely, when we find ourselves in low valleys, He doesn't mean for us to stay there. He brings us up out of those low places. When we find ourselves in dry, destitute places, He is the living water that flows through and brings life to that place. So, yeah, you know what? God ain't gonna sit in the fire with you either. He'll step into the fire with you, but I bet He's not gonna sit there and leave you there. Like, that's not how He operates. Case in point, Daniel chapter 3. So, at this point, Nebuchadnezzar, he on his whole little pride kick, and he's erected this huge statue of gold. And every time the music plays, people are supposed to stop what they're doing and worship this gigantic golden idol. But you know what? Word gets back to him that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego ain't going, like they're not doing it. So he's like, yo, bring them to me. Let me talk to them. So they bring them in. Nebuchadnezzar's like, so word on the street is that when the music plays, you go about your business and you're not worshiping my idol. Like I said, do you know who I am? They say, yeah, we know who you are, but we also know the God that we serve. So therefore, regardless of what you do, we're not going to worship you because we know that our God will deliver us, even if you throw us in your little funky fire. Uh, our God will deliver us. And if He doesn't, that's okay too. But I bet we're not going to bow a knee to you. He said, oh, okay. Heat that fire 7 more times and throw them in. So that's what we pick up. That was I'm just bringing you up to speed. Daniel chapter 3, and we're going to start with verse 21. So, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, you're going in the fire. So, it says, verse 21, these men were bound in their coats, their turbans, their trousers, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's command was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of fire that killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down. They fell down, burned into the midst of the they fell down, bound into the midst of the fiery furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste and spoke, saying to his counselors, did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said, true, O king. Then verse 25 says, look, he answered, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Listen, come through Jesus. He did that. So they got thrown into the fire, right? They fell down, right? Whether they landed on their knees, their butt, or whatever, when they hit the floor of the fiery furnace, they were in a bow. You refused to bow, and then they threw you in and basically made you bow. You fell down. But Jesus steps in on the scene and he raises them up. Okay, he loosed them, raised them up, and had them walk around. God will not leave you bound and down in your hard place. He will loose you and raise you up and cause you to walk through that place. Yes, he can miraculously just bring you out, but he doesn't always do that. Often when we find ourselves in a hard place, he'll take us through it, not around, not over, not under, but through it, because that's where the growth comes from, and that's where our faith really starts to be even more purified and even more solidified. Because sometimes when you go around, when you dodge that thing, you don't learn the lesson that's on the inside of that thing. So he has to take you through it so that God is true, he's alive, he's real, he's with me. Whatever I find myself in, he's going to see me through to the very end. He's going to walk this thing out with me. Case in point, Isaiah 43. Definitely going to start with verse 2. Going to end with the very beginning of verse 5. So, Isaiah 43 verse 2 says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through, all this through, not around, not over. I'm not building a bridge over the water. I'm going to take you through the water. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I gave Egypt for your ransom, Ethiopia and Seba in your place. Since you were precious in my sight, you have been honored, and I have loved you. Therefore I will give men for you and people for your life. Fear not, I am with you. Fear not, I am with you. We serve a God who loves us so much that he will meet us right where we are. But he also loves us so much that he will not leave us where we are. So he'll walk through that thing with you. You won't be overtaken by the fire. You won't be drowned out by the waters. When you find yourself in the hard place, trust him to find you right there, to come in and go through that place with you. God is not going to leave you where you are, so don't be content to stay where you are. He will loose you, he will raise you up, and he will bring you through that thing. Trust that. Have a happy Monday.